Hello everyone, this is Bakari. I write for MakeUseOf.com, and I thought I'd do like a little bit of video about how I'm using this app called Adobe Ideas. I'm using it. I'm not an artist, as you can see, so I'm just trying. I'm a beginning artist, pretty much, or a beginning sketchnoter. I'm trying to learn sketchnoting, and I've been reading a book called The Sketchnote Handbook by Mike Rohde. It's a really great book, and I have the PDF version of that book on my, or the Kindle version actually, on my iPad. And I so basically in that book he has a series of exercises, and he gives you some templates, really kind of just some grid templates that you can utilize to get started. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how I use Adobe Ideas. I use several other apps as well. Um, Ones like Pen Ultimate, which is a really good one, and Paper and Bamboo Paper. I mean, these are really inexpensive apps, and so I just kind of, I'm not an artist or anything, but I just kind of like have to have fun with them. Plus, I write about this stuff as well. But I want to talk about a little bit about why Adobe Ideas is a really useful one for both experienced artists as well as people who are just kind of getting started with sketchnoting or sketching or what have you. So anyway, what I did was I created. I took a screenshot of Mike Rohde's templates, and I brought it into the application. So you see here at the bottom, you have your you can bring in your screenshots or photos or whatever from your photo library and bring them in to this app. And then I open up the app here, okay, and automatically that when I open that up, that becomes what's called a layer. So if you know something about Photoshop Elements or what have you, or Adobe Photoshop, you know about layers. If you don't worry about it. But the layers is pretty much this little button here, and you see where it says Photo Layer. That's the visual library exercise screenshot that I just brought into it. And so that means that on this layer here, where it says draw layer, I can draw on top of that layer and not mess up the template, if you will. So I can just draw on top of it, and this is where the fun comes in. So I'm not going to attempt to draw anything right now because I'm just too slow. But I'm just going to show you some things here. You can just draw, and you have different pen sizes. So if you press down on the pen size, you can go up and down and increase the pen size here. So you see, so you can do that. And then another really great thing about this, what I like the most about Adobe Ideas, is that you can click on the move tool, and you can increase the size of the canvas. Because if you're using the iPad or the iPad Mini, the canvas can be a little bit small, particularly if your eyesight is not that good, or if you just want to do some kind of detail kind of drawing. You need to be able to just increase the size and do that. So that's really great for that. And so you have your pen tools. You have different pens and brushes and markers, things like that. You can play around with those. You can also change the color, so you have some basic colors here, and you can also create some more colors here to add to your palette, right? Okay, and so you can draw things. And one other thing you can do too is it has this nice little fill bucket. Now you have the fill bucket here, but you can also do the fill bucket. Say if you just draw a circle, and you make sure that you close that circle, and then when you close the circle and you just press in the middle, it'll fill it up for you. Now if you don't close it perfectly, okay, you see it won't work. So you have to be something where you can close it perfectly. So let's undo that, and you can draw any shape, doesn't matter, as long as you close it up and then press down. Okay, and you can do that for small, really small items as well as large items, but that's something really neat to have. Plus you can undo stuff, you can move it around, you can get rid of the toolbar here, to give yourself some more space if you need that, and just open it back up. And you can also create as many layers as you want. So I can draw on a second. Here's another layer. I can do that, and I select that layer, and let's go back to our canvas. So you see I can draw on top of that. Here's this layer here, I can draw on top of it. So let's change colors. Okay, and I can draw on top of that without messing up the bottom layer there. So that's really great to have fun with that as well. So this is really one of the better kind of drawing apps for this. And if the pens and markers are very, very smooth, sometimes they're a little bit too smooth because they can, if you draw something, let me move this over, uh, it'll smooth it out for you. You see how that it just smooths it out for you. That can be good and bad depending on what kind of artist you are. So if you're really trying to have a lot of control over your drawings, that might be a problem. But for us beginners, that's fine. Anyway, so you can do layers. You can also duplicate layers, as you can see. The thing about this though, it duplicates the entire canvas. So whatever you have on there. So if I want to duplicate this, okay, let's see if it does that. So let me give you an example here. So I want to duplicate, let's say I want to duplicate this layer here, okay, and we put that on top. Okay, so you see it. Well, I'm just trying to show you how I duplicated a layer and then I flipped it to show you that it duplicates almost the entire layer. So whatever you have on a layer duplicates that. Whereas in Pen Ultimate, you can select an element on the page and just duplicate that particular element. So it's a little bit more control in Pen Ultimate than you do have in here. But anyway, it's great to have this. You can also you can delete layers as well and go back to it. So you can play around with this. To me, it's a great tool for sketchnoting or for doing sketches and diagrams and things of that sort. Adobe Ideas, I forget how much it costs, but I think it might be free actually, but it's really worth. If you have an iPad, it's really worth downloading, particularly for your kids as well. But this is something for both the kids and adults. Definitely check it out. Really worth the time. It's not a. It doesn't have. It has a few tools, but it doesn't have a whole bunch. So you don't. Just like you're not going to get all lost with it. And you can also share. You can email your drawings or what have you, your sketches. You can email them or add them to your album as well. And you can also you can tap here and give a title to it. And let's see, practice. I'm going a little slow here, but practice. And let's see, practice one or whatever, and you can do that, and you can save them all here. And then you also have what's called the Adobe Ideas account, so that you can synchronize your sketches and your work between devices. So if you have an iPad and an iPhone, or you go online and find it on the web or what have you, you can do that as well. So this is really worth it. Again, I think it might be free or whatever, but check it out, Adobe Ideas. And my name is Bakari Shavanu with MakeUseOf.com.